Hello and welcome to Bertina's Spiritual Sanctuary. My name is Bertina and today we're going to talk about August Sacred Harvest. We're going to talk about the returning to the rhythm with the divine feminine tonight. Now remember on Thursdays, the first Thursdays of the month, I do a free Zoom class on awakening your divine feminine at 7 o'clock on Zoom. And then on the third Thursdays, I do a embodying the divine feminine class. It's $25. It takes the first class and the podcast and all the other blogs and everything else and actually helps you embody it, which means live it out day to day. So please feel free to do what you wish. Join me where you can. But for today, we're just going to create the sacred space. We're going to explore spirituality, the divine connection, and intuitive embodiment. So it is August. It's the month of Lammas, the first harvest, and it's a time to look around and within yourself. It's a time to give thanks for what is grown and prepare what must be released. Think about all the ideas of summer. Kids have been playing, they have been working with being kids, and they're growing. And now we must release them back to school, allow them to develop who they are and really harvest what they've learned from the family and embody what they're going to learn from school and make it wonderful. But for many of us, it's a time for us to connect with the divine feminine energies. It's a time for us to go back to school, maybe spiritual classes, maybe yoga classes, maybe meditation classes. And it's a time for us to look at how we can grow from what we've learned and then learn and embody a little bit more. Remember that I do offer online, Zoom, and in person spiritual classes, yoga classes, meditation classes, all of that wonderful stuff. Um, and it's to me, most of the time, if we're working with our divine feminine, we are looking at really lifelong learning. I mean, many times when we talk about lifelong learning, we kind of focus on college or trade school or certifications for jobs. But spiritual learning to me is so much more empowering, so much more of a gift to ourselves that it really helps us in finding who we truly are. I love continuing learning. I just finished my somatic yoga certification and I start my Kundalini yoga certification in October. And I don't know, I just love to learn. But for now, let's get back to the episode. We're going to connect with the divine feminine energies of Demeter, Rhiannon, Inanna, and Allah. And we're going to explore some rituals and some meditations and other practices to kind of help you move gradually from the height of summer into the early whispers of autumn, which is my favorite season of all. So let's think about this. August carries within it a golden hum. It's a sound of abundance humming beneath the surface of every field, every garden, every body. There's a fullness to August, a sense that the earth itself is exhaling after months of heat and labor, and especially this summer. It seems like it was so much more hot than before. The fruits are ripening, the corn stands tall, the sunflowers stretch their radiant faces skyward, and yet beneath this vibrancy there's also a subtle ache. It's a knowing that change is coming. And if you're like me, change is hard. We notice that the light is shifting, the days are slowly growing shorter, and the nights carry a different kind of coolness. And this is my favorite time of night is autumn, is when it begins to become cool. And depending upon where you are right now, it may be cooler, it may still be warm, but we just know that it's coming. And our soul begins to sense this invitation of going inward again. So, as the wheel turns, there's a celebration of Lammas and sacred cutting. In the Celtic and pagan wheel of the year, August the 1st or 2nd is celebrated as Lammas, or I know I'm going to mispronounce this, but Lungnashta. It's the first of the three harvest festivals. Lammas literally means loaf mass, which is a time when the first grains were gathered. They were milled and baked into sacred bread, an offering of gratitude from the bounty of the land. It's not just about wheat or barley, it's symbolic of every intention that you planted earlier this year. So let's think back. Think about the dreams that you dared to dream or even nurture this year. Take a moment to think about the healing that you worked for, the love that you cultivated, and think about all the work that you've put in to grow. But here's one thing, for the bread to be made, the wheat has to be cut. And so we're reminded in every harvest that there's also a sacrifice. Something must be released so that nourishment can continue, whether it's the plant that gives itself to the flame of transformation, or even an outdated version of ourselves that must fall away to make room for what's next. There's always a sacred letting go. Now take a moment and look outside right now. Perhaps where you are, the world still pulses with heat and sunlight. But if you pay close attention, you'll notice that the edges are beginning to soften. The wind is less wild. The trees, though green, are beginning to whisper about change, and the earth is teaching us something important. It's teaching us that it's okay to slow down, to release, to receive, that nothing, not even summer, is meant to last forever. And that in order to truly harvest our lives, we must take pause. We must witness what we've grown. We also have to take notice to what we haven't grown, what has not grown as we thought. And we must give thanks for both of them, because even the things that didn't come to fruition teaches us something. Now, many goddesses walk with us during this sacred in-between, this liminal space between the peak of summer and the coming descent into fall. Their stories are archetypal mirrors of what we experience in our inner landscape. Let's talk about Demeter and Persephone. Demeter's the Greek goddess of the harvest. She embodies the maternal force of the earth itself. She's nurturing, abundant, protective, and her myth with Persephone is one of the most powerful representations of seasonal change. When her daughter is taken to the underworld, Demeter plunges the world to winter. But before that descent, before the bareness, there's August, the moment Demeter begins to feel her daughter slipping from her. This is the month of holding both grief and gratitude. Demeter reminds us that it's okay to mourn what we must let go of, even as we celebrate what has blossomed. Now, Rhiannon is a Welsh goddess of horses and dreams and sovereignty. Her story is one of unjust accusations and spiritual endurance. She was falsely blamed for the disappearance of her child, shamed publicly, and forced to endure years of penance. And yet she never lost her faith, she never lost her grace. She teaches us that sovereignty is not just about power, it's about how we carry ourselves when we've been misunderstood or wounded. As the seasons begin to shift, she reminds us to walk in our truth, even if others still don't see the full picture. Now, one of my favorite is Inanna. She's the great Sumerian goddess of love, war, and fertility, and she teaches us the sacred power of descent. In her myth, she journeys into the underworld, shedding a layer of clothing and power at each of the seven gates. until she is naked and vulnerable before her shadow self, her sister, Ergoslau. And I know I'm saying that wrong. It's Ereshkigal. Now, August in many ways is our own descent, not into winter, but into reflection. And Inanna reminds us that the transformation is not born from comfort. We must be willing to let go of ego, to release control, to honor the thresholds. And then when we do, we reemerge stronger, not because we avoided the dark, but because we met it with open eyes. Another goddess that we don't hear a lot about is Ala, A-L-A. She's the Earth Mother goddess of the Igbo people of Nigeria. She's both the giver and the receiver of life. She governs fertility, morality, and the land itself. Every harvest is hers, and every death returns to her soul. Allah reminds us to treat the land and even our own bodies as sacred, to offer gratitude, to plant just not what is ours for ourselves, but also to do things as a for the next generation. She embodies the wisdom of stewardship. And in August, she asks us, what are you giving back to the earth? What are you giving back to the world that really nourishes you? So let's take a time and really think about how we embrace the inner harvest. As we walk through August, we're invited to ask ourselves, what am I harvesting from this year? What dreams have matured? What efforts have bore fruit for you? And probably the hardest, what must now be cut away to feed my next becoming? This month is not only about gathering what is ready, it's about preparing to rest, to go inward, and to realign. This is the first whisper of autumn, the first invitation from the soul to slow down. Now think about this. The divine feminine does not rush the seasons. She listens, she receives, she trusts the rhythm of life. She doesn't fear the fall, and she knows that everything is a spiral, not a straight line. So if you're feeling uncertain, if you're grieving, or if you're holding joy and sorrow in the same breath, know this: you're living in the wisdom of August. You're embodying the truth of the harvest. Take a breath with me now. Inhale the golden light of summer and exhale the tension of trying to hold it all. Let's do that again. Let's inhale the golden light of summer. Exhale the tension of trying to hold it all. You're allowed to release. You're allowed to rest. And you're allowed to receive the harvest that you've worked for. And also grieve what didn't bloom for you. As we continue this sacred journey through August, I hope that you walk with the wisdom of the goddess. I would like for you to listen to the rhythm of the earth and honor your own sacred turning. Now, as we complete our circle, I want you to think about some things that you can do to align yourself with the divine feminine. Bake ritual bread, infuse it with intentions, and share it with loved ones. Declutter one area of your life or home and create space for clarity. Dance barefoot in nature and reconnect with your body. Maybe write a letter to your summer self and thank her for all that she did. Take a slow walk at sunrise or sunset and listen to nature's rhythm. Speak with your ancestors. Ask for their wisdom as you prepare for the darker half of the year. Start a harvest journal. Track what you're harvesting and what you're releasing. August is the sacred in between, not quite summer, but not yet fall. And it asks us to become both witnesses and participants in our transformation. You're the culmination of everything you've tendered. You're the bloom and the fruit, the spark and the flame. May this August remind you that your life is sacred, your work is meaningful, and your presence is a gift to this world. You're not behind, you are right on time. From my heart to yours, blessed Lammas, blessed harvest,